Future Hacker. Life. Path. Future.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Future Hacker. I'm your host, Maria Taide, and today we're talking to Dr. Cliff Hahn. Dr. Hahn is a biologist. He participated in the Human Genome Project, led a team to complete many hundreds of bacterial genomes, and authored more than 300 research papers. Before that, he got his Ph.D. from Fudan University. He was trained as a medical doctor in college and worked in a hospital for many years. Dr. Hahn created AllerPops, a lollipop that corrects the underlying cause of allergies. He says that most people think that seasonal allergies are caused by pollen, mold, and dust. And I used to think about that as well. So it's really the result of a hypersensitive immune system. He claims that AllerPops safely and naturally corrects the problem by reintroducing the beneficial oral probiotics. So I'm really just waiting for it to be available here in Brazil. And one of the reasons that Dr. Hahn caught my attention is because I used to suffer from allergies during, a long part of my life. I went through this really painful process of getting the shots. They never work. So, Dr. Hahn, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show with us today. How are you doing?
Great. Nice to meet you, Maria, online. So it's great. And thank you for having us.
It's really amazing, what you've been able to do on those last years. And I'm really cheering for, the success of AllerPops, and I really hope that it's going to be available globally. I can't wait to try it, So, but, first things first, what's the story behind AllerPops?
Yeah, the story actually all started within my family. So my son got allergy when he was 2 years old. So one night my wife called me and come and see what's happening with his eye. I went there and say the watery eye is just popped out. So that's the first things I say. Actually, the allergy can be so bad. And afterwards, he suffered almost 12 years. In 2014, I got allergy myself. I lived in US at that time almost 17 years. And we studied, at that time I know what people will get allergies. Usually the immigrants will get allergy within the first 3 to 5 years. But for me, I got allergy after 17 years. So what's happening? It's a special case, and the immigration is probably not the cause anymore. So I actually think back what's happening with myself just before I got allergies. So eventually, one of the things pop out, it is my oral hygiene changed. There's a long story about that. By the way, I have a book about those long journeys. But briefly, I focused on my oral hygiene issues. And when I started to study myself and I want to see what's happening with myself, I focus on two samples. One is my saliva sample. Another is a stool sample, because people actually think the gut microbiome is related to allergies as well. But my focus is in the saliva sample, the oral hygiene hypothesis. So that hygiene hypothesis actually was proposed by a scientist in Britain in 1989. So that's the start of the modern science about allergy. So I followed that trail, actually collect my saliva sample for 3 years. Very fortunately, my allergy changed during the process from a year-long allergy to seasonal allergy. It's a reverse course for me. Most people get allergy from seasonal allergy and then become year-long allergy. My case is so special. Started with year-long allergy and then become better. So that's the change. It's that change helped me to figure out. Of course, during the process, I collect my saliva sample. I was able to compare what kind of bacteria changed associated with my allergy progress. So eventually I found two group of bacteria associated with that change, and that's all the start of the AllerPops. So targeting those bacteria actually was able to reduce my allergy. I don't have to take any allergy medicine after that.
Okay, so basically, you got the problem yourself. You had issues in the family, and then you started developing allergy yourself, and then you were your own guinea pig, right? You started just testing yourself and collecting
Yes,
yourself.
that's right.
So, a very, very basic question: where did you store your samples?
Actually, the saliva sample I just stored in the freezer. The freezer.
Really?
Yeah.
And for how long? For how long?
For many years. So of course the best practice is to store the -80 freezer. But as amateur or off-site research, I don't want to buy that big freezer and store in my home like that. So, but fortunately, it worked out with that. So theoretically, there might be some quality change, but it worked out. So,
and I'm glad you had your family support, right? Because you had to use your freezer, and you also have the story about how you got to your oral hygiene. I remember you told me you actually for a while stopped even brushing your teeth, right, to see what would happen, if it would improve or not. Yeah,
those are as a guinea pig of myself, I have to do that. So because I have a theory of oral hygiene might impact my allergy issues, I did several episodes of not brushing my teeth for 2 or 3 weeks until my gum got actually inflamed, bleeding, something like that. But even with that, my allergy didn't get better. So that tells you the more bacteria does not help. The dirtier is not help. Dirtiness itself does not help. Eventually, we figured out actually it is some kinds of bacteria. You got to have those at the enough level so that the immune system in our body will come down. So that's the things. Simple reduce. Go ahead.
No, so. Just for me and no, the listeners to understand. So as much as you have the triggers, right? Like maybe pollen might be a trigger to someone allergies or mold, as you said. And for me, like my pets, sometimes they were the trigger for me to cause the allergy.
Yep.
The cause behind that and what really has to be treated for us to improve is not really the trigger, but the bacteria that are, that we carry with us.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. So the underlying cause, the root cause of allergies is actually, I call it insufficient probiotics in the mouth. So that means we do not have enough of those good bacteria living with us. So the bacteria and human host, they need to be peaceful with each other. That's the bottom line, right? So the bacteria want to live in our body. We have the nutrition, we have the water, air, things like that. This is probably the best environment for the bacteria to live. But at the same time, we have an immune system which will fight against anything that does not belong to human body, so including the bacteria. So if the bacteria want to live in anywhere in our body, there got to be a procedure or process for them to communicate with our immune system, say, I'm your friend and let's live peacefully. So this peace agreement is benefit both sides, right? The bacteria will not get attacked, and we do not have to fight the battle all the time. So because those bacteria, the common bacteria living with us, they do not hurt us at their health condition. So that's why those agreement has been making through those in the mouse, through those two group of bacteria, they release a group of chemical which is short chain fatty acid. So that actually those group of chemical interact with our immune system, tell our immune system calm down, not fighting the war against anyone at this time. So this is the process evolved for millions of years so that we can live peacefully in the environment. So the common question related to this is actually, if the bacteria living here and tell your immune system not fight, what happens if you got like infection or COVID? So that's the common question people actually always ask. It's not a good thing to have those bacteria, but there's a procedure, actually a way to remove those bacteria, especially in the mouth, in the airway. The common symptom for those infections is actually fever, the high temperature. One of the bacteria, one of the two symbiont, very sensitive to temperature. Our body temperature is actually the high end of the optimal temperature for those bacteria. When you got a fever, those bacteria will be suppressed and they will be gone. And when they're gone, your immune system will be released, and the immune system have the power to fight those pathogens. So this is the natural process, how we live peacefully with the bacteria, and how the power of the immune system can be released when we have infection.
So, do you believe that's the reason why the current, old-fashioned treatments of getting the shots not always work? Because still, if you still have a body that is not in balance with the bacteria, you're still going to have the same issue happening again. So is that the rationale? And do you think that now with your findings that, it's more related to the balance within the body and with the bacteria needed to calm our system down, that's going to be the future of allergies fighting that? So forget the shots, we are now handling the bacteria. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we need to go to treat the root cause of allergies. Current treatment, no matter it is antihistamine or steroid or allergy shot, they don't deal with the root cause, that is the hypersensitive of the immune system and the lack of good bacteria in the mouth and airway. So without treating that, people have to take those medicines every day, all the time. And even with that, the symptom, the allergy usually gets worse and worse. And also people have more risk in developing those autoimmune disease. So it's the same things to me. Autoimmune disease and allergy are the same, two sides of the same problem. When you have the hypersensitive immune system, they can attack externally, we got allergy, attack internally, we got autoimmune disease.
So doctor, I'm curious, is this something that anyone could be using, any age? Is there any side effects?
Yeah, this can be used for anyone who have allergies. We have 3-4 years old, they use that. Actually, the kids works very well for their problem. So for some reason, I think their microbiome can be changed a little bit easier than our adults. And when you have a long history of allergies and those excessive oral hygienes, those microbiome probably have been tuned or changed to some level. It's hard to change. I really have some of the customer use a box or two, it didn't change. And yeah, we are facing some difficulty with some of the doubts. But for most of the kids we heard from, actually it works quite well as long as they follow the procedure. So, but for the side effect, in the early stage, we observed some of the side effect, and we modified our procedure accordingly. And currently, we barely see any side effect. So the side effect is actually the feel of weakness and also low fever sometime. That's a problem. So what we found is probably at the early time we didn't restrain how many or how frequent you can use the product. And currently we ask people to use it one pop every other day. So we slow down the process. So let your body actually adjust to the change, especially your immune system, the local tissue, reduce the inflammation gradually. So with that change, we actually barely see that within the last 2 years.
So, and I see that the product is on the market already. I did see that on Amazon, and I did go through the reviews, a lot of really great reviews there. So, what's exactly the stage that you are right now? Like, are you do you already have all the approvals? Are you going after the approvals? Are you going after funding? What's going on right now?
So in the last several years, what we call that is actually market supported development process. Our early customer, like we just talked before about those even side effects, and also there are other issues with how to use that. Initially, the procedure was a lot more complicated. Right now, you have only 2 or 3 steps to use that. So those are all the feedbacks according to our customers. We change that according to our customer feedback and improve the product. And in the last 2 years, we did the clinical trial that confirmed AllerPops is effective and safe to use. So yeah, I would call that the last several years, we are on the R&D stage with support from our customer. I think next year, that's the start of the real marketing process. Started with collective fundings. We actually have, we're going to start the crowdfunding next week. So we found that's the platform we'll use to release money for the marketing process. The research is done from my personal study and from the independent clinical trial. They all confirm AllerPops works. Next phase is to open the market and tell people it is here. You can treat your root cause of your allergies and recover and live freely in the nature. So that's our purpose. And with this change, I think people will be able to enjoy indoor, outdoor, anytime, anywhere they want. So
we're going to be adding the link down here for the crowdfunding. So if anybody that is listening and is interested in supporting, just click down there and you're going to be able to help out as well. And so I'm curious, Dr. Hearn, and that's usually something that we always ask here on Future Hacker, no matter the expertises that we're talking to, is regarding the future. Maybe in the coming decades. So what's your thought regarding the future of allergy treatment? So do you believe that now this is just the beginning to approach in a whole different way? Do you think that this is going to be like a breakthrough in the industry? And even moving further about autoimmune diseases, like what's your thought regarding the use of genetically altered cells to drive remission? So what do you see in the coming decades?
I think the scientific society in the last 10 years, they have emphasized the microbiota, the bacteria living with us. I think this AllerPops is going to be the first product that actually pinpointed out to target the bacteria and by promote the natural helper with us, and we can get much better health with that naturally. And specifically to allergy, I think with this approach, with this treatment, and also with the spread of the knowledge behind AllerPops, it's the theory how the bacteria work with us and influence our immune system, not only in the mouth, but also in the gut, on the skin. In the book, actually, the book title is Nothing to Sneeze At. So that's the book which will release in early next year. So that tells you the theory and how those immune system in different area actually influence each other and work through those bacteria, and they give systematic reaction to the problem in our body. If we treat those bacteria properly in the mouth, in the gut, and the skin, I believe the allergy problem, and including some of the autoimmune problem, will be significantly reduced in the next 10, 20 years. So that's, of course, we need collaboration as a society, and not only the AllerPops, the company, but also through doctors, dentists, allergists. We all need to work together to spread the knowledge. So that's the things we do want to work with all peoples so that we can improve the quality of lives for many. So I know the allergy is not a deadly disease for most people, but the quality of life definitely will be reduced quite a bit. I know that I have those 3 years. Thanks, Lord. Actually, that's only 3 years for me. My customer, actually, they suffered for 50, 60 years. So
that's great. So a lot of great perspectives about the future, right? And one last question that I have for you, and that's especially because we do have many entrepreneurs that are not only part of our network, but that are listeners as well. And I do remember when you were telling me about your story and about your whole journey, that there was, at some point, you almost gave up, right? And so could you just, tell our listeners about that? And for people that are out there just venturing in their own discoveries, not only on the healthcare system, but anything that might be a breakthrough in our current reality and that are driving us to a more positive future. If you have any advice for those people, also it would be a great last word of our conversation today.
All right. So I think the first things I would say, I was quite a stubborn kid when I was young. So I would tell parents, if you have a stubborn kids, let them be stubborn. Don't punish them too much. So that's actually a quality. Later in life, you will use another word to say perseverance. So that's the things actually we need to stick to the problem. If you are interested in that, if you have a calling about the problem, and stick to it. For me, I think the big things keep me moving on with all those challenges. As I told you before, there's in the research period of time, there's a couple of time looks like there's no hope at all, and what I did has completely failed or in the wrong path, something like that. Eventually come down with mainly it's the purpose-driven life. There's a book about that. So find your passion, find your purpose, and the purpose is the highest, probably the most powerful drive for people to move on. So interest is good, curiosity is good, but the most powerful drive is actually a purpose. So that's the things. Find that passion, find that purpose for our life. That will increase the quality of life, the joyfulness and happiness of life. I think that's the main things. All of us need to work into that direction to get our life with a purpose, with valuable activities for others.
That's amazing, and that's the perfect way to end our conversation today. Thank you so much for being here with us today and sharing your experience. and I'm wishing you the best and the success ahead. And I hope that, we can spread the word and having, people funding and making sure that we're going to make the future of so many people that suffer with allergies like myself today really, really better really soon. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for having me.
Future Hacker. Life. Path. Future.